Hi Aquarius, this is your homework family reading for the second half of June, for June 15th through the 30th. This is for all Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in Aquarius. And like I said, it's for the second half of June. I've been using the bell a lot this time, more than the actual candlelight. When I use the bell for a little bit more of purification, clearer energy, clear out the energy, and make sure that all the good stuff is around. Okay, Aquarius. First thing that I'm getting is some inflexibility, tension. I'm getting a really stiff neck. And that's basically exactly what I'm being told to say, is like a stiff neck. And some frustration. Like you're dealing with some frustration, some tension, I feel like you're over controlling. You're trying really hard to over control a situation. And it's probably working against you because you're trying too hard to over control. You might be fighting your intuition, fear of failure, inflexible, and thinking that you know how it must go, and it doesn't necessarily need to go the way you think that it should. Trying to do things at your own pace, like I said, thinking that you know exactly how it should go, but the way you're thinking and the pace that you're thinking is not exactly the right pace. And this is what's causing some of that frustration, some of that inflexibility, the tension, or overthinking it too. And let's face it, you're Aquariuses. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of that overthinking that's going on. And not sure of what it is you desire and how to properly take action within that is pretty much the very first things I'm getting. I'm also being told there is a situation within the heart chakra. Maybe it's not that maybe you're trying to overthink and you're not listening to the heart, because one of my warning signs that I have on my notes over here is highlighting for me. That's just the way it works. I always say that I'm being told right now, you need to look towards love as the situation more than the intellectual thinking. I think you're trying to overthink it, or whoever I'm connecting with is trying to overthink the situation, and the more that they're overthinking it, they're actually probably pulling themselves a little bit further away from an unconditional loving situation. You know, love, trust, and empathy in general. You're pulling away from that because you're trying to over control the situation and make a decision, and that you're kind of standing still is what I'm being told. You're kind of standing still and not really, a little bit stagnant is what I'm getting. There might be issues with trust, but I'm definitely feeling tension. And I started to go towards the cards. I'm definitely feeling like a tension, or something that's keeping you. You're trying to overpush it, but you're actually holding yourself back without knowledge, is what I'm being given, in a sense, by trying to over control it, trying to overthink it through, trying to make sure that it's all perfect and right, and somehow it's actually working against you, not for you. So I feel like I'm being told relax a little bit, and I'm being told right now there may be a situation with self-expression, or the truth within the self-expression is one of the things that they're giving me, and that's a specific growth that you're going through at the same time within that truth of that self-expression. Is there anything else before I move into the astrology? Oh wow, you have to go on that one, don't you? They're saying there might be some situations of extra sadness that you're dealing with, or not sadness, forgiveness, grief, something along that line is something that you're trying to overcome. And within that, it's actually going against you know, that love, that trust, that empathy. Because of it, I feel like a pulling of energy, of going back and forth, which is keeping you from making the right decision, or a decision, maybe, is where I'm going, where Spirit seems to be taking me with that. For a lot of you. Now, that may not be for everybody. That is what I'm channeling for whom all it is that I'm supposed to be channeling it for. So, I'm just giving you what I'm being given. Now, as I get into the astrology, and then before we hit the cards, alright, this is for Aquarius. Now, I do say Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, but when I do the astrology, it is more for if you are a sun sign of Aquarius or a rising sign of Aquarius, because in astrology, I am going directly to what would be the universal standpoint or chart for Aquarius, coming from an Aquarius point of view. It may still hit the emotions perfectly, or the sensitivity if your Venus is there, but I'm looking at the universal chart from an Aquarius point of view. Now, with that being said, most of this energy from the 15th through the 30th of June is going to be your unconscious actions. So this might be about you, you know, like talking to yourself about some of those things that are bothering you, but you're not even really aware that you're over communicating it to yourself. Because like I said, this is your unconscious actions. This is part of your self-identity. This is part of your free will of being able to believe and choose. This is your ego and your introvert side. It is your more private areas of your life, but it is also, you're really coming into areas dealing with, did I go the right way in my book? No, I went the wrong way. You're dealing with areas definitely from your universal 12th house and over to your universal 7th. Let me make sure I'm right. No, to your universal 6th. So most of this is definitely about you, not about the outer community. And in the astrology, really, you don't have too much going on in that outer community. I mean, Sagittarius with Jupiter and Ceres is the 11th house for you, which does have a lot of abundance and growth going. But I feel like things are maturing in the outer community. But if there's any questions, it's more of self-doubt. It's more of self-sabotage. It's self-inflicted more than actually coming from the outer community. I feel like you are, I'm being given the wolf right now. So the wolf is definitely saying that this is definitely more of inward emotional feelings of what's going on more than what's actually outwardly. You may be projecting it outwardly without full knowledge. But if the wolf is coming in for me, this is more of solitude. This is more of, you know, your introvert self. This is, like I said, the introvert self. It's a lot of your personal, your more private areas, your personal areas. So when we're looking at it in the astrology again, let me go back. La 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 la. You're talking about your universal 12th house, which is your subconscious, your hidden self, your unconscious mind, your karmic debts, your self-deception, your mental illness, self-sacrifice, the self-undoing, self-sabotage. It is also bad habits and frustrations that continue to grow because of the bad habits. On a more personal level, what we hide in that universal 12th house is situations with prison, government officials, government offices, government agents, suicides, kidnapping, grief, sorrow, secrets, funerals. I mean, these are all things that are kept in our underworld that needs healing. That's why it's part of the subconscious, and we try to keep it hidden and secret even from ourselves. That's just what the universal 12th house is. But you're going from the 12th house into the first house, which is your self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, your appearance, your view of your life, your identity, your image. Your second house, which is just self-worth, your personal possessions, like your phones, how you create and spend your money. But it really has a lot, if it's coming through a reading through me, to do with self-value, self-esteem, self-worth, your hidden talents. that maybe you're not even realizing or aware of for yourself. It's dealing with your communication with your neighbors, your siblings, and all short information like your text messaging, your emails, uh, transportation, deliveries, visits, like I said, phone calls, short communication. It's dealing with your inner home, the home itself, but it's also dealing with the karmic home of who and what you are. It's dealing with family, land, personal foundations, your personal roots, your inner emotional security. A lot of that's exactly what I feel like this is about. It's really getting into some depths of your inner emotional security, and you're really having to sift through some of that in areas that you're maybe not very comfortable with. Like I said, I feel like there is a stiff neck. I feel like it's tension. I feel like it's inflexibility. I feel like you're beating yourself up. I feel like you're beating yourself up and being too hard on yourself and trying too hard to be perfect about everything that you're trying to create. And in fact, by doing so, you're slowing yourself down. Because by doing all of that, you're probably denying some of that universal fifth house, which is your pursuit of pleasure, your children, your creativity, how love is made, your personal interests, um, your creative expression. And I was being said that earlier when Spirit jumped in. Let me jump back. Because, yeah, they were saying your self-expression of your truth. There's something about your self-expression of your truth that's, you really need to be listening to your heart and soul. I feel like you're trying to be too analytical. You're trying to think it through. You're trying to think through the situation when you need to connect a little bit more with your self-expression, your self-truths of what it is and what it is you truthfully from your heart and soul are wanting to express and need and desire, and you're overthinking it and causing yourself to pull apart is pretty much what I feel like I'm being given. And this is all going to be dealing with your daily mundane task, which is the universal sixth house. So it's also speaking to you of your health, your diet, your physical energy, your hygiene, but it also deals with your daily mundane tasks like getting ready to go to work, service of your daily activity, your daily work. So a lot of that is energies that I'm seeing is taking place in these areas of your life from the 15th through the 30th. Now, there is a full moon taking place on the 17th. The full moon is more Capricorn. Some people may be saying it's Capricorn, but I really, when I see them, I call them for what they are. It's a void of course. It's going on that day. The full moon is taking place when it is going from Sagittarius to Capricorn. So you will be picking up energies of both signs on this day. And the 17th is a Monday. Now, Yura, however you pronounce it. And I say it that way because I'm constantly getting into it with Hill Hippie about how it's pronounced. Because it's also in one of my runes. As I always thought it was Jera or Jura, and he keeps giving me it's Yura. But anyway, when I do astrology, I just call all of them planets, whether it's an asteroid, whether it's a comet, or whether it's a planet, a dwarf planet. They're just all planets. That's just how I communicate it. So anyway, Jura, however you want to say, is moving into Leo. It's coming out of Cancer and it's going into Leo on the 20th. On the 21st, you have Neptune, which is finally going retrograde. Which reminds me, I want to keep reminding everybody, Neptune is in shadow until the 21st, which I will get into in just a moment. But on the 21st, also, the Sun moves into Cancer. Now, on the 26th, Mercury is moving into Leo. So you have Jura, however you pronounce it, Mercury. Both of those two are going to be moving out of Cancer and into Leo at like the last week or so of the month. Last week and a half of the month. But here's the key. Mars is actually moving with this. You have Jura, whatever. Mercury and Mars, they're all within 10 degrees of each other, going out of Cancer and into Leo. Even though Mars actually will not move until July, they're still within 10 degrees of each other. So this is like a big ball of strength energy just shifting from one sign to the other, even though Mars won't actually cross until until July. But this is talking about sacrifice, commitment, communication, and firepower. This is I relate Mars energy to the sacral chakra. It is your passion, your action, your aggression. It starts in the sacral chakra, I feel. It's your passion, your action, your aggression, your fire. It's your sexual energy. So it's your emotions in their full power, whether that's right or wrong. And it's your inner warrior, your inner SWAT team, mixing in with how you feel about things. It's your inner fire from a masculine point of view, moving with Mercury in communication, and with Jura, which is sacrifice and commitment. So there's like all three of them just kind of combining and slowly shifting signs. And you're going to be noticing that energies start to come into play, around the 20th, and especially as you come to the end of July, as it switches signs. Now, for you directly, that energy is coming into... It's coming out of your 6th house and into your 7th. So that energy will be coming out of those daily mundane tasks, from how you get up and first start to take care of yourself, your hygiene, your health care, your physical ability to take care of yourself, your tasks, your daily work, how you are in service, your commitment and your communication within how you first care for yourself and are able to care for the service around you, more or less is shifting into Leo, which is going to be your 7th house. So right now it's more of into caring about itself, and then how can it care about the commitment outwardly. Like I said, your 6th house is your daily work. It's your service, your diet, your health, your hygiene, your ability to work. It's how you take care of situations, how you take care of your daily, everyday tasks. So this is more or less your daily routines. Your daily routines are definitely all month has that energy of Mars, Mercury, Jera, and the South Node trying to help, not the South Node, the North Node, in Cancer, trying to help you re-nest and rediscover where you need to give that extra loving attention to. But as you come into the end of the month, it's shifting away from that, and it's starting to move more into the relationship zone. And relationships are, your marriage, your partnerships, your business, your contracts, your corporate side. It's relationships of all kinds. Divorce, separation, lawsuits, even your open enemies. It's family, friends, foes. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with. So you're going from your daily routines and then into the actual relationships with this energy. But this is happening more at the end of the month. As you come into, like I said, this is taking place more of the 20th through the 26th is where you're going to feel this communication start to shift. Up until then, that communication is more into what is your routine and how's the routine serving you or not serving you. That's your key right there. How's the routines from the moment you get up and you take your shower and you're getting ready to go to work, and how are you being in service to yourself as well as to others? How are your daily routines serving you or not? Because with communication here, Mars here, this should be talking about helping you feel comfortable within what you are creating from the moment you get up to the moment you leave and get into the actual world. What about all of these daily routines are serving you or not? And that is key. Because it's fighting the outer community. It's fighting, let me see, where are you? It's fighting your goals, your dreams, your wishes, your desires. So what are you, like I said, something about those daily routines are somewhat of keeping you away from achieving your goals, your desires, your friends, your self-realization within how you're actually trying to bring forth what you want. Something about you is fighting yourself in this area. And that is something that you need to realize, because that is right now a serious energy for you that's not fully going to shift, because Saturn and Pluto are in the outer community for you, which your ruler, one of your rulers is Saturn. So this is rules, walls, and boundaries. Trying to reshape those rules, walls, and boundaries so that you're able to create those goals, those hopes, those ambitions, your self-realization, your dreams, your wishes, your friendships, the memberships, the community at large of your life. You're trying to shift this into new ways, more or less. But something about the mundane daily tasks is fighting you about how and what you're doing about creating that. Even though Mars, Mercury, Jera are going to be moving out, the South Node and the North Node will still stay in the same place with the energies of the outer community. So this is an opportunity right now until the end of the month, when these energies shift, to help you understand something about that that's from your daily activities that is technically fighting you from creating those, that outer community the way you want, getting those dreams and everything the way you're hoping to see them, your friendships, those larger communities, something you're trying to create, the self-realization of what you're trying to create is not completely coming through the way you want, and it's going to be relating back to where these rules, walls, and boundaries are not fitting each other in a healthy way, more or less, is what I'm seeing from the astrology. Now, like I said, you've got the full moon, which is taking place in Capricorn, so that's taking place in the outer community. It's taking place from Sagittarius into Capricorn on the 17th, on Monday. So it's going to be crossing Jupiter. It's going to be crossing Jupiter, and it's going to be going into Capricorn, coming closer to Saturn and Pluto, which is one of your rulers again. So this is definitely bringing in something to highlight what those rules, walls, and boundaries need to shift to be. And this is also speaking to you of your reputation, your prestige, your professional life, your career, your social foundations. What is the duty, the authority, and the responsibilities to this outer community that's the full moon is going to be bringing attention to? It's going to be bringing attention to something that needs to be released, surrendered, let go of, because it's not serving you well, or you've already accomplished it in some way. Something about that full moon is going to be speaking to you in that sense, because it's going to cross Jupiter. Probably on the 16th more than the 17th it'll cross Jupiter, but it's definitely going to be bringing extra emphasis on the situation within that career zone. Now, here's the kicker. You have Neptune, which I'm reminding everybody, Neptune is in shadow until the 21st, and I keep telling everybody, with it in shadow, if you have major things that you're making decisions on, man, please hold off on some of those major decisions, if you can, until after the 21st. And the reason for that is Neptune's in shadow. You may be looking at things from a darker aspect because of Neptune being in shadow. You may be creating some of that self-sabotage because Neptune's in shadow. And it can only communicate to you from that darker aspect of things because it's in shadow. So until it goes retrograde and is actually inwardly able to communicate to you from a positive and a negative point of view, it's Neptune, all the planets do not have a positive or a negative. They don't see things from a positive or a negative. That's free will. That's us who sees that. They are what they are. I mean, like, Jupiter is abundance. And if you're in a positive way, Jupiter brings you abundance and knowledge in the most positive ways. But if you're negative, then it's bringing you all that abundance and higher knowledge and the negative, telling you everything that's going against you and helping you notice it, but it may feel more like it's beating up on you. So this is what I'm saying. The planets don't have a positive or a negative. They just are what they are. And then it's up to us to be humane about what we decide how we're taking that energy. So with it in shadow right now, it just happens to be looking at the darker aspects. For you, this is your universal second house. This is why I feel like, yeah, that makes so much more sense now. Because this is why I feel like you're over beating up on yourself. Because Neptune is there with Lilith. Lilith is a great feminine activist for making you stand in your power and be creative about it. However, in Pisces, she's compassionate where she normally isn't. She's wanting to give love where she's normally, let me put my foot down and this is the way it's going to be. Where now she's wanting to be compassionate. She's also wanting to be viewed and loved and taken care of and caressed. Where normally she's like, screw that. Let's be honest. I don't mean any disrespect against you, Lilith, but the point is she's such a powerful feminist energy that she's able to do for herself. And in this energy, she wants to be healed. She wants to be loved. She wants to be caressed. But if she gives into it, she's afraid that she has to change. And then that means I don't know. And this is what's going on in your universal second house of your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. And like I said, until after the 21st, it's connecting with the darker aspects of your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. And it is in a T-square the whole rest of the month, or it has been the whole month. This energy is taking place. And it's speaking to Jupiter, bringing up extra magnification from your 11th house. So it's definitely talking to the career zone. It's talking about where your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem is fighting you in the career zone. And, not the career zone, and your relationships, as far as community, your community, it's your outer community at large, it's your friends, your wishes, your goals, your dreams. So it's fighting that and the community and those friendships and the self-realization of who and what you are, of being able to create it, going back, fighting your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. Jupiter is bringing abundance to the whole thing right now, and then it is going straight across, and it's fighting your 5th house of your pursuit of pleasure in Gemini. So you're definitely getting a whole Jekyll and Hyde going on inside of your head. And this is helping you realize, even though it feels like it's fighting yourself, it may be feeling like you're stagnant. You need to be stagnant for a minute. It feels like, you know, you're evaluating parts of yourself that maybe you don't like and parts of yourself that aren't being achieved. Parts of yourself, like I said, this is your self-realization. You're coming into a different level of understanding yourself, as well as what's working for you and what's not, what's kept you back, and what's not communicating outwardly with those friends, with that community, that's keeping you from creating the goals, the dreams that you want. Those wishes, and making the friendship become what you want it to become. Something about this within your self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem isn't that you don't have it. It's just that you haven't found it. I feel there's a piece of yourself you're not giving yourself credit for, or you're not loving yourself properly. And this is coming into a different level of what Spirit was saying is self-expression. Self-expression and truth. And I must be getting it right because, oh my God, the high-pitched noises that I'm getting right now. So, I mean, that's definitely some of the energies that you're feeling. But like I said, if you're making some major decisions, I wouldn't make them while Neptune's still in retrograde. I mean, Neptune's in shadow. I would try to hold off on decisions that, soulfully are deep, major decisions until after the 21st, because that at least it's not just looking from a darker aspect anymore. It gives you the opportunity to truly see it from all aspects and figure out how to maneuver and help heal yourself and the situation. Now, with that being said, you also have the sun, which is moving into Cancer for you. Again, that's going to be your universal sixth house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The same day on the 21st. So this is going into, again, those daily tasks, daily routines. So something about all of your mundane daily tasks is going to be illuminating itself and showing you where it definitely works for you and where it isn't. And it's important that you actually pay attention and listen to that information, because, like I said, this is more private areas of who and what you are, but it's helping you to recreate and understand your self-expression and your self-truths so that you can communicate it outwardly as you make the changes that are coming in the next couple months, is really what I feel is going on. Now, let me pull out a couple decks, because I'm just starting to realize, just let the decks tell me who wants to talk and where we're going from here. So for Aquarius, who wants to talk to me? I'm just validating. It tends to get hotter. Which one of you two was it? Going into the Zodiac deck. So, right here at the beginning, around the 15th, some of you are flipped over. How is Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs feeling? What's going on with their energy that maybe even they don't understand? Help them understand what's going on with this energy right here at the platform for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aquarius signs for June 15th, right around the 15th, right as we approach this energy. What's going on with this energy? You're learning to come into your power. You're learning to truly come into you on a different level than I think you've ever thought before, because you are Aquarius. This, and I mean, this really, to me, this is saying right off the bat, you're learning to take from that sacral chakra and the root chakra and go all the way up. You're clearing energy, is what I feel like this is. This is clearing energy and coming into your fire, truly coming into who and what you are, understanding yourself on a new expression. Understanding the Aquarius that is you. I really did not understand that at all, Spirit. As coming into a new growth of who and what you are. What I'm being pointed at, what's highlighting for me, is in astrology, one of my notes is the yod. And the yod is something that happens very rarely in astrology, and it's considered the finger of God. So maybe what they're trying to say is, in a form, this is like the finger of God for you. This is that time of energy for you, which is definitely making a new pathway within decisions. It's pointing out a new pathway and decisions for you, but you really need to be paying attention to what your cues are so that you can understand, because that's what Spirit's highlighting for me at this moment. Is there anything else in this deck that needs to come out for Aquarius before we get into any other decks? Or was you just trying to get me to that? Is this for Aquarius? No. Anything else for Aquarius? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Energies that they need to comprehend. Like I said, what I'm actually is being given is a little bit more of what Spirit just pointed out, is like that yod, the finger of God. It points to pathways of a new decision, direction, purpose, consciousness, self-nullification, wisdom, action, and reaction. That is what it means. It also speaks to you of the number 10. It is a completion of cycle, and it is a universal creation, more or less. And I feel like it all came when I got this Aquarius sign for you. So I feel like that is basically what they are giving you. And then the last card that they give you is Virgo, which for me, Virgo is the finger pointer. Virgo is the finger pointer, anal retentive. Let me pick it apart. I'm not able to go from A to B, A to D. I must go A, B, C, D. And I feel like this is saying, do your homework. Do your homework. Do not try to skip, do not try to skip go, do not try to, skip a few things. You must go through the hard work of doing it, is what I feel like I'm being told to tell you with Virgo coming up. Now, is there anything here, or are we going to the other deck? Yeah, you're coming in. Are you also coming in? Maybe later. This is, and the fact that they chose the White Sage Tarot deck is actually a very gentle deck. So maybe there's a reason for that, because this is typically when I hit what the challenge is. What is the challenge for Aquarius? Are you... The world. This is the crown. This is the world. This is speaking to you of completion of a cycle. This is also a time to celebrate and enjoy who you are and acknowledge, give yourself the love you need as you figure out who you are on a brand new level. You're coming into a new level. You're coming into a new situation. This is, being connected to all things that is never ending. This is the world, but it's also speaking to you of your crown. So this is allowing, get out of your head. Get out of your head and understand that the oneness is trying to teach you something. Get out of your head and allow the oneness to do its conversation with you, to help you achieve a new goal of who and what you are, a new understanding, and come into a true understanding of what you're here for, what your expression of yourself is to yourself on a new level. Because I feel like you're changing, and like you as a person are maturing and changing, and that you're not completely sure about that. You're kind of comfortable with what you've been. Even though you're open-minded, because you guys are Aquariuses, I feel like you've been very much, you've gotten comfortable with what you know. And it's time to know more about what you know and realize that there's stuff you didn't know. Because it's coming into a deeper truth of yourself is really where I feel like you're going with this. Alright, what else does Aquarius need to know that is a challenge for them? Like I said, right off the bat, you were being told, heart, self-expression. Get out of your head, being a little too inflexible, trying to push too hard. I think this is a time of some inward energy for you. What just happened to my cards? It's just the one. Alright, is there anything else here, or are we moving off to Thoth? Nope. I feel you, but you're gonna have to. I feel you, but I can't find you. The Hangman. That makes complete sense. This just means you need to stay, I don't want to say stagnant, but you need to stay still for a moment. Stay still. Just stay still and listen. Listen to yourself. Because the Hangman always reminds me, I mean, and that I've already put it back in here. But the Hangman right there is the caterpillar getting ready to rebloom, and not rebloom, but to go into the cocoon and become the butterfly. So you are going to rebloom. This is a death of one part of you for a new part to rebirth. You can't be the caterpillar anymore. It's time to start becoming the butterfly. Is basically what this deck is saying. In a nice way, it's saying it's time to put the caterpillar part of you away and time to grow into the butterfly that you were meant to be. Alright, and that's part of the challenge. Seriously? That would explain why I'm throwing all of them down, because this one wouldn't go back in, because this was it. This is the 9 of Cups. It's also the crown. But you know what this means? Hard work pays off. This is telling you it's time to take time for yourself. Go in. Like I said, I think the best way of explaining that challenge for you is plain and simple. The Hangman in this case is the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. It's time for you to do that. Thoth, do you have anything to say to them? Wow, Thoth is going silent. Thoth never goes silent. Alright, with that being said, or either one of you two have anything very positive to give them? Yes, you do. To help them make it through this time as they come to the end of June. Give them some knowledge that will help Aquarius move forward in the most positive and healing way. Well, that was just way too many. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What do they need to hear to help them move forward in the most positive and healing ways? Amazement. You have worked hard to get everything just the way it is right now. Trust and enjoy this moment. Everything is as it already should be. Like I said, I feel like you're just fighting yourself. You're pushing yourself way too hard. And in fact, you're keeping yourself from getting there. Is this for them? No. That was a mistake. Anything else from here? Anything else? Are you confusing me? Yes or no? No. Let me try this really fast. Is there anything from the daily healing? Oh, you guys are already flipped over. Daily healing for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. One of you. Was I wrong? Don't be afraid to slow down, as this is when you can make real inner changes. Like I said, Spirit pointed out it's the finger of God for you, hon. It's the yod in astrology, even though it's not really showing in astrology. What Spirit is pointing out in my notes is it's the pathway and the new decision of that pathway. It is a new direction, a new purpose, a new consciousness. It is self-nullification for the crown of the yod for the wisdom. It is action and reaction, and it is the number 10, which is a completion of a cycle. This should be a very positive time for you. Stop fighting yourself. Stop fighting yourself. Go inward and allow yourself to go from the caterpillar to the butterfly. I love you guys. Bye.